And welcome to our 9 o'clock service. God's right here, right now. This is a tough one. Thank you, Jason, for your beautiful music. Love that song you did. God is right here, right now. Right here, right now. Not just right here, but out there, in the midst of it. And I have to tell you, as a practitioner, I've really had to dig deep amidst all of this devastation and suffering. I've had to be still. Thank you for your talk, Miss Beverly. And let me say, as superficial as it sounds, my heart, and I'm going to speak on behalf of this community, our hearts and our prayers go out to all of those who are struggling right now with the loss of loved ones, pets, homes, property, memories. God's right here, right now. And a huge shout out to the first responders, the firefighters, the pilots who have been, dropping water and fire retardant on the properties that are on fire. Yes, they are just amazing. I was thinking about what Holmes and this teaching might say about natural disaster. Because this teaching, the science of mind teaching, believes that the power of thought and our consciousness shapes our reality. I remember when I received a diagnosis, and I went to Reverend Mike and I said, "What is it in my consciousness that created this?" And he said, "It doesn't matter. Now you focus your consciousness on healing." Thought has a creative power that manifests in physical form. Yes, we know this to be true, right? We've played around with this idea personally, have we not? I have, certainly. The invitation is to do that. So I think that natural disasters are not purely the result of human thought, but part of the larger impersonal forces of nature that exist in the universe. Maybe it's a reflection of some imbalance in human consciousness. I don't know. And there is an underlying spiritual principle of peace and wholeness, even now, in the midst of it. There is an underlying spiritual principle of peace and wholeness. God's right here, right now. So I decided that it is my responsibility and the responsibility of this community to hold a vision of safety, healing, and restoration. I can really get caught up in ain't it awful? And it is awful. And at the same time, I can hold a vision for wholeness and restoration. And will you join me in doing that as we continue to pray You know, I looked in the glossary of the Science of Mind textbook under faith, because I was, you know, that pile of horse shit in the living room on Christmas morning, I dove into it and looked for the pony, right? So faith, in the glossary, it says that faith is a belief in the presence of an invisible principle and law which directly and specifically responds to us. God's right here, right now. The fire doesn't define who we are. You know, a lot of communities have lost their places of worship. We are so blessed. Churches and synagogues, gone. And the fire, like I said earlier, fires come and go, but community. And maybe that's the gift in all of this, the way that people are coming together. I don't know. I mean, this is just me thinking out loud now. Maybe this is some cosmic way for us to come together and stop all the nonsense that goes on, all the hate that goes on. People are coming together. You saw what's happening at the Santa Anita, right? They had to leave the Rose Bowl because there wasn't enough room for all the donations and the people coming to bring supplies. Something new is always being birthed. Just as the earth knows how to heal itself, divine intelligence within each of us knows how to guide us back to wholeness. So let that be our focus. How did the time get to be? The time has slipped away from me. So we are in the second week of the new year. And the charge is to cover the first 4 chapters of the textbook in the first 4 weeks of January. Reverend Nancy talked about the thing itself last week. Creative intelligence, universal energy, creative power, love and law, the love of the universe, first cause, eternal spirit, the whole, it, the oversoul, ultimate stuff, invisible essence, the thing itself. So I looked back at chapter 1, and if you have the textbook, it's only about 4 or 5 pages, that first chapter. And then at the end, Holmes says, let me recapitulate. And he summarizes it all in one paragraph that says, there is that within every individual which partakes of the nature of the universal wholeness, and insofar as it operates, is God. There is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since that within us partakes of the nature of it, we are divine. It reacts to us according to our belief in it. It is an immutable law, subject to the use of all alike. It cannot be bound. It appears to each through our belief. It is done unto each of us as we believe. We've heard that before. We are one with the whole, one with the law of the whole and the spirit of the whole. The nature of the thing is universal energy, mind, intelligence. Spirit finding conscious and individualized centers of expression through us is us. The mind which we discover within us is the mind that governs everything. This is the thing itself. So chapter 2 is entitled The Way It Works. And it made me think about chapter 5 in Alcoholics Anonymous, which is titled How It Works. And the first sentence in chapter 5, How It Works, of Alcoholics Anonymous says, "Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path." It could say, rarely have we seen a person who has thoroughly followed our path, because we limit ourselves. And it's kind of true with this teaching as well. That if we thoroughly follow the guidelines of this teaching and the proclamations of Ernest Holmes, if you will, who drew these ideas from all different sources, if we just follow along, I think we will not know suffering, dis-ease, depression, fear, doubt, worry. I think those things are eradicated the more we allow this teaching, the more we allow ourselves to embody this teaching. The thing works for us by working through us and is us. It is us. We are it. It can't work for us in any other way. I love this line. It spreads itself over the whole universe and shouts at us from every angle. You are the beloved, my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. It can only become power to us when we recognize it as power. So what is it that limits our demonstration? It's our belief. If I bring a teacup to the infinite source and flow, I'm going to get a teacup. But if I bring a vessel, it too will be filled according to my belief. That, then, is the way it works, in essence. Shout out to my granddaughter, who helped me with the slideshow. She insists that I remind you every week to give, make sure you give me a shout out and make it good. So, Esther, it is done unto each one of us as we believe, yes. Esther Hicks, the law of attraction, says, fear only exists when you don't understand that you have the power to project thought and the universe will respond. So fear only exists when we don't understand that. We are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life, not sinners. We are centers. And those of you who come from traditions which teach us that we are sinners, we are centers, not sinners. Please understand that. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. Call it what you want. Mother, Father, God, Auntie, sea and sky, infinite intelligence, grace. Call it what you want, but call it. The sum total of all our thought, all of our will, all of our purpose and belief creates a tendency in the law that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of that belief. In other words, life is like a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what they think into it. That is the way it works. It's kind of simple, isn't it? But we complicate. I don't know about you all. Am I the only one who complicates things by doubting and questioning and wondering if this is real or not? Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not, please. I don't want to be up here all alone. I came up with 12 steps. AA has 12 steps of recovery. So I came up with 12 steps to successful practice of the science of mind. I don't know if they're any good or not, but let's go through them just for the fun of it, because I'm running out of time really quick. Number 1, acknowledge the presence of a higher power. There is a universal intelligence that governs all creation. God is the creative intelligence at the heart of the universe. We can't recognize that it is if we believe that it isn't. So, step 1, acknowledge the presence of a higher power. Step 2, recognize your connection to it. There is no separation. There never has been. It's an illusion. It's a falsehood. The idea that we're separate is not true. So recognize connection to the whole. Step 3, examine your thinking. Change your thinking, change your life. Alan Watts said, all that you see out in front of you is how you feel inside your head. So examine your thinking. Step 4, recognize the law. Understand that your thoughts are creative, and what you think, believe, and feel will return to you in the form of experience. Step 5, surrender to the divine will. Be open to the guidance of spirit. Let go of the need to control. You talked about that, Beverly. We live in an intelligent universe and have access to infinite wisdom. Step 6, be willing to let go of limited beliefs. Release any belief that limit your potential or that are not in alignment with the truth of the universe. Everything that's coming into your life, you are attracting into your life. It's attracted to you by virtue of the images you're holding in your mind. It's what you're thinking. Whatever's going on in your mind, you are attracting to you. That's the good news and the bad news, really, isn't it? Step 7, practice affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment. Align your thoughts with the truth of your desires, affirm the good, align yourself with the divine and the divine flow. Step 8, know that your desired outcome is already done. Affirm it in the now. Step 9, act in alignment with your vision. You are a co-creator. We are co-creators, co-creating with infinite intelligence. Step 10, release and trust. Let go and trust that the universe, the law of life, will handle the details. Don't dig up the seeds that you have planted to see if they're sprouting. If I plant carrot seeds, I'm not going to dig them up to make sure it's carrots that are actually growing. I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust the law to do the work, knowing that the carrot seeds I planted are going to produce carrots and not tomatoes. Step 11, cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is the open door to receiving more good. Gratitude opens the flow of abundance. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Yes. And step 12, live in the present moment. Remember, we are creating our future by how we think. What day is it? Asked Pooh. It's today, squeaked Piglet. Oh, that's my favorite day. The same can be said for, what time is it? It's now. Oh, that's my favorite time. So these are some pathways to transformation that we can use, particularly in times like this, when there's so much going on outside of our control. Let us understand that we are infinitely connected. There is no separation. We can walk this path with faith and courage and community, relying on one another. So let's take a moment to just pray together, recognizing once again that there is a power, there is a presence, there is one life of all, and no other power exists outside of the infinite. God is right here, right now, expressing as my life, as the life of each of us here. Dare I say that God is expressing in the external, even when we don't like that which is being expressed. God is right here, right now. I am divinely connected to infinite source. I cannot be separate. There never was and there never will be. There never can be any separation. I am made in the image and likeness of it. So it is with a heart filled with gratitude and a heart that is heavy and ecstatic all at once. Heavy for those who have suffered such losses in this time, and ecstatic knowing that God is right here, right now. Ecstatic in knowing that there is a rebirth that is happening. That all is being made new once again. That infinite creativity is creating something even more magnificent. This is the truth that I am clinging to now and holding on to. My faith is strong, and I declare this to be true for each of us here and each of us out there who are struggling and suffering. We create a life of health, happiness, wholeness, abundance, prosperity, fulfillment. And there is a renewed commitment to this practice, this spiritual practice, where we enter each moment with a renewed, strong faith. God is right here, right now. Right here, right now. So I am claiming and accepting and declaring and knowing that peace prevails, that love prevails, that wholeness and regeneration and rebirth and renewal is now, happening now. Grateful for the safety of those in harm's way. I give thanks for this knowingness. I give thanks knowing that faith, courage, clarity, renewal, rebirth are the order of the day. And I remain thankful and grateful as I lovingly release this word to that aspect of infinite intelligence known as law, which only says yes to that which we place into it. So we place this into it with faith and belief, knowing that it is done, and it is so. And in agreement, we simply say together, and so it is. Amen.